Hello, everybody. Welcome to Concordia Consularis, Concordia Spiritual Activation. This week, I am joined by Derek and Harrison from Africa, and we're just going to continue on with our clearings. And I'm very happy to be doing this series. It gives me great joy. It's a beautiful country, and too long the people have been suppressed by various control factions groups on the planet. And we're going to be looking at that in more detail and demonstrating to you how effective you can be when you are committed to your own spiritual and light evolution, but also planetary evolution. And it all counts in the bigger picture. So very quickly, before we do that, I just wanted to let you know that if you wanted to develop your skills incarnated on Earth now, I'm going to be running an online sacred clearing, healing the wounds of the soul. And in this, we look at everything that your soul has experienced with your soul groups and your own personal divinity. And we look at what you incarnated into, and we heal the experiences that have registered with the soul as a memory, as a thought, as a construct, and we're able to lighten that load for you. This is going to be a very, very beautiful and sacred clearing, healing and activation on the 5th of May at 7 p.m. Cancun time, which is 1 hour behind EST. Do get in contact with me. I will leave the links below. But in the meantime, and I'll probably talk about it a bit again, I'm just going to bring forward Harrison and Derek here. I'm just going to check that there. Welcome, guys. Hello.
Hi, Angela.
It's lovely to see you all.
Okay, hello Angela. It's lovely to see you and to be here.
Yeah, and we will connect in a way. You know, it's really great working with you two. You're both very committed to your own personal development and assisting others too. And it's really amazing to observe and see. I really do appreciate that in you both. But I'm just going to give a brief, excuse me, brief, I don't even know, I'm just going to say it actually, I was scratching around for the world. Since our last outing, Harrison, we experienced some kickback, didn't we? Can you tell me about the experiences you had and tell everyone about that?
Well, since our last meeting where we did the clearing for Africa, which was really amazing and it was beautiful, the guys on the other side that would say they are the dark, they did the retaliations, and it was not all that pretty, but we were aware of that, and we have dealt with it, and we are here to progress our light and shine it, and to show that we are strong.
Exactly. And that these old tricks that they use are just out of date. We've moved on. One of the things I will say this, that you can experience when dealing with the magnitude of black magic, voodoo, occult constructs is that, you know, there is specific intent. And I just want to describe the experience that I had a little bit. Now, I suddenly, from out of nowhere, and, you know, this was a pretty interesting form of magic because usually nothing can get past me. But in this particular instance, it was done in a shamanic way where I wouldn't necessarily notice. I was sent psychic darts. Now, some people in the West might not be familiar with that because it's not a regular part of everyday life and everything. you know, you don't see or hear about these types of things. But what I picked up on and what I observed, witnessed, and put into court of equity was literally there was a being behind a black alchemical cloud, and it was related to the albino clearings. But there was a bigger picture behind it. Now, that was, they blew a dart at me across my face. But what I noticed and observed about the guy that did it, or the individual being that did it, is that they were emitting a frequency, and it's a specific frequency, and you can notice it in people when they carry a lot of it. So it's a bit like rings, black rings that they'll have in their field. So they're literally using their own energy to recycle these rings of energy that will activate certain ritual affirmation programs. Now, that's really interesting because it's been turned into a digital product. Fascinating. Anyway, so they were dealt with, and then one came back from out of nowhere because there was a detail behind the scene that I had not seen, and it came to light. And I got to say, when that was taken off me, it was trying to affect my present on my left-hand side. I felt relief. It was like these pixelated energy packets were literally just coming off, and it was like a wave. So I just, you know, while some people would go into automatic fear about this kind of thing, we cannot, because our own light construct in our body, our core of our light frequency of creation, can deal with it effectively, and it was dealt with. And I know that, Harrison, you did experience some problems where they tried to access you through others, which was not so great. But this is a common trick that they use. If they can't get at you, they'll try and get at people around you to get at you on their behalf. So they literally, there's a lot of using going on, but it's the same methodology every time. And Derek, we discussed archonic representations. That's one of them. That's one of their instilled tricks of the trade that they use. So it's been quite an interesting experience. What I'm going to do in this spiritual court of equity today is just ensure that there is no kickback, because we shouldn't have to deal with that, you know, with just because somebody else is dissatisfied in their own darkness does not mean that they can project that negative intent towards others. So anyway, blah, blah, we shall go to the next level. Let's move there quite quickly. So I'm just going to bring the continent of Africa into your personal view. And we are here with the soul of Earth. And, you know, geographically, I was picking up yesterday the Congo, and looking at races who were here before any of this happened. So as Africans, where do you feel the root of the problem is?
Personally, for me, I think the root comes from the individual himself, where there's this greed that they have within themselves. And this translates into search for money and power, and it grows in every single level. Where it starts at the family unit, it goes to the common, the community around, up to the government levels. And the only thing that's different among them is the level of greed that they have and the power that they can wield. So for me, that's what's appearing strong, because these people will do anything to get their power and do whatever they want.
It's true. It is greed. So there are some values here that have gone awry, basically. And you know, it's literally dog eat dog. I will take, I will hunt, and you will have nothing. Which is not fair for the people that are just, you know, carrying water for miles, for example, when an infrastructure of support for villages and so on there could be more of that. Also, I'm going to, right, so we'll pull into that. In the Court of Equity, we're going to bring in every single puppet politician who is in it for themselves. Derek, what are your thoughts?
Well, what I'm focusing on is that anything dark and using the dark arts, let's call it the dark arts, and manipulate it for personal gain. It's not the time on the planet. It's service to self. Groups and individuals need to be brought down. It's all about helping your brother and sister on the planet and to try and lift them up. And the vibrational frequency on the planet needs to be raised. And therefore, individuals or groups working to empower themselves against the rest of the people on the earth, it needs to be brought down. It really does. And I don't mean it in a judgmental way. One does need to discriminate, though. But as a continent, Africa, which is a very beautiful place, I also think that Mother Earth, nature, the plants, the trees also need to be alleviated and from the misuse of them that these people have done.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, all over South Africa, there are many time portals, circles that would be found. I think this does go into Mozambique and up the left there. What's north of South Africa? Excuse me, my geography is escaping me. Is it Angola?
We've got Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Namibia.
Namibia.
On our border.
That's what I was looking for, Namibia.
Also, there are time warp zones in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And in a natural time warp zone, you've got the different dimensions where other races can move through very easily.
Yeah. Now, I'm getting goosebumps as you say that. So what we're going to do in this spiritual court of equity, we're just going to invite those that would suppress Africa without even knowing what they're doing. They're just so used to living in that way. And I know last time we addressed various Anunnaki factions, but this is going to broaden out to be a wider invitation. And this could include subsets who operate on behalf of these groups or future groups who use those portals for resources. But also I'm going to go a stage further because this has been on my mind. Because I had visited township schools about 10 years ago, and I just fell in love with the children, you know, such bright sparks, you know, really loving. It was just quite a moving experience for me. I just wanted to take all the children home and look after them, you know. So the problem of AIDS and HIV was rife. So much so that school children had books talking about that as a normal thing. And it was introduced there as a testing ground. So what I want to do in another part of the spiritual court of equity, I want to bring in all those that seeded that disease where people would literally turn against themselves because they didn't feel good about their experience. It's literally the soul attacking itself, the spirit attacking itself. And I'm just going to open that up wider. Now, this is interesting. What are your perceptions of this?
For me, when you talked about AIDS, it reminds me of the conversation I was having with my friends on how I saw this documentary where they were doing this thing and it wasn't so pleasing, where they introduced this AIDS. And I have seen the devastation that it has caused. And I think it's Mother Earth is having a look at it, and I hope in some way it's gonna be cured. But I don't know if it's gonna be done by the current medication that we have, but it looks like there's some kind of a technology that's gonna come that's gonna clear that. And I think it's already here, but it's being kind of suppressed.
Okay, now Harrison, I feel you know a little bit more about this with your indigo-ness. Can you just ask the creators of that to come in? Now, there are obviously pharmaceutical Atlantean moneymakers here who are doing this on purpose. So we just want to ensure, I tell you what, and then what we're going to do is we're going to look at all the beings, all the people who actually have HIV and AIDS in Africa. All the souls. Go for it, Derek.
What I'd like to put in here with the AIDS virus, or any other virus for that matter, it's also got to do with being consciously aware. So what I would add to it is any consciousness or entity attachment that's decided to attach to human beings in the form of the AIDS virus, what I suggest is we start to dissolve and vaporize them.
Agreed. So what we want them to do, the proprietors of this, we want them to remove it. And now there are going to be other groups here that have affected the motivation of insertion, whether it's through sexual behavior, it'll be in the reptilian brain and limbic system, but also this is where it ties into the black magic and the thought of inserting that into the people. And along, you know, because obviously the root is the root connected to the planet. And the spine is the spiritual connection to the spirit as well, as part of that movement.
What I'd like to add in here, as you're talking, I got the image symbolically. Imagine like a large creature laying like hundreds of thousands of eggs. And each person that has got the AIDS virus has got an egg. And we need to trace it all back to that creature that is laying all those eggs, and dissolve the mother, if you'd call it that, of the AIDS virus.
Agreed. Now, this is interesting because it's used in it's used as remnants for Morgellons disease. So this was interesting that we talked about it. And this is a disease where people can experience different fibers, all kinds of different non-human expulsions of matter through the skin, scabs, scarring, and literally they're just pulling them out of the body. So it's interesting, the actual physical manifestation of this intent. Fascinating. So on a separate zone in this court, I just would like to invite all indigos of a generation to come forward. What do you feel from that, both of you? What do you feel has been their greatest impact?
Well, it's all about bringing that light in and that ray of consciousness that they've brought to the earth. And it's a high vibrational frequency that allows them to start to transmute energies that are not in alignment.
Yeah. So in the background, what I'm doing is I'm basically removing the impacts to them, but also the groups that have affected them the most, to restrict them from being that pure energy. So that's going to take place at the sidelines. Let's just, while that's all happening and clearing and resolving, let's focus on the black magic element in Africa. Now, I did mention earlier that I'm feeling the Congo is key here because it's untouched. And when I flew over Africa, as soon as even at 36,000 feet, I started to feel incredibly sick because I could feel the bloodshed and the other stuff that was basically being cooked up by dictators of the time. Really interesting, right? So it just seems like Central Africa has suffered the most. What are your observations?
I don't know for me, but there's this image that's keeping on flashing to me that I have seen on the internet of it's like of person whose head has scales and it's very dark. I don't know if it's an Anunnaki or a reptilian, but it's keeping on flashing on in front of my eyes, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's basically a notification. So let's bring that group into the court. And all lineages of Africa. Can you see the flashing image group, the scaly group? Can you see how they're reacting? Do you get a sense of that?
From my human perspective, when I'm looking at this person, it looks like he maybe is smiling, but isn't smiling. It just looking terrifying, looking at you, because it's kind of a different version of a humanoid that I'm seeing from just the head part. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, the hybrid technology. So what I get a sense of is I get a sense of the sound, and that like it's like a trapped animal going crazy and making lots of sounds that might not necessarily be human. Yeah. And it doesn't understand. So I just want to bring in the understanding and awareness for all that are in this court of equity. That this is resolution, not just for themselves, but for all future generations, past, present, and future, who have endured this level of suppression and suffering. And if you can describe what you see and observe.
What I observe is that Central Africa and the Congo, the reason why there's been so much disruptive energies and dark forces at work there is originally, in its true origin, it's a place of beautiful, bright, golden light.
Yeah.
And that light and that energy is being closed over by the dark forces. They're trying to stop it emanating out of the center of Africa.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a golden ball shining that's been smothered up and cloaked over and cloaked over and cloaked over.
Yes, cemented in by human blood.
And the Court of Equity is starting to remove or evaporate those cloaks.
Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I just want to go a little bit north of the Congo. I'm just going to say hello to my friend in Togo. See you soon. And we're going to go, I think it's Mauritania, south of Morocco and Lebanon. And it's a massive, massive remnant of ancient technology there called the Rikat structure. And it's huge. It looks like a giant crater, but there's more to it. And rarely people go to it because I think it is in desert. I think it is Mauritania. I should have looked at my map before, but I didn't. I'm going by memory. So I just want Earth, I'm asking Soul of Mother Earth to just utilize that frequency. She knows exactly what her body does, by the way, to anyone that's listening, just like all humans do. And just be interested in your observations.
I don't know, for me it looks like it was a huge curtain and then it has like been split and it has fallen off. That's kind of the perception I'm getting. So I don't know what are you getting, Derek? And for you, Angela, what are you getting?
What I'm getting is I saw a picture or a slide in my mind of technology under the ground. And as we are doing this work tonight, I saw people running away because it's being shut down and closed. So the people are on the run now.
Okay, so if there are, let's have a look at what was controlling that technology. And I'll just bring in the technologists into the Court of Equity. But also here, I would like to just invite all races who live in Africa, who have to live in this way through that experience, who have had to endure a lot of corruption, parasitic behaviors, and more to do with those eggs as well that have come through the generations. So it's kind of like a generational clearing there, because these things do move through the generations. It's not just 7. There are, the grief and the suffering is tremendous. So I'm asking for that to be removed, but also looking at what the cause was. So in this moment, let's just see, I'm going to bring in the 15 to that spiritual Court of Equity. And ask them to remove those influences to those lineages. And I do this because it's very, because of the levels of suppression and economic suppression of the individuals, they wouldn't even get to know about that this was possible. So we give it to them with love and a sense of humaneness to our incarnated brothers and sisters. How does that look, and how do you sense that?
What I'm also picking up, it's connected to the work that you did on the albinos, and it's shutting that whole system down.
Agreed. The ritual affirmation programs that were digitized in form, but also spiritualized through the use of their rituals. So it literally is ongoing. So for those that perpetuate it, so it's in them and it's just in operation 24/7. You know, because, you know, it just, there are other parts of Africa where the albino is revered. Can you feel the shifts in the energies?
Yes, I can. And that whole albino lineage has been shut down now. So this is carried on from the work that you did in the last Court of Equity, which is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So we basically pick up where we left off and just keep going until the job is done. I love that. Bulldozer effect.
It looks strange for me because what I can see, it's like I'm in a deeper part of Earth that looks like it's a cavern, but it has vegetation. That was the first image that was shown to me, and then I saw myself squatting on a large pool of water, and it is very calm. So when I dipped my hand, I could see ripples going to the farthest end. So I don't know if it's my guides using symbolism for me to interpret, but
Yes.
it looks like I'm having this in understanding what they are trying to mean.
It is, it's beautiful. It's like the ripple effect. It's rippling out through the waters and all underground water systems, north and south, east and west. It's beautiful, Harrison.
Yeah.
So how are the indigos looking in the spiritual court of equity?
I'd say the indigos are being released into actually starting to come really into their own energy as originally it was their organic self, call it that, if you will.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the same thing, because for me, I was seeing great dancing and people rejoicing with joy and singing around. It looks like they are very happy.
That's the type. I'm getting goosebumps again. Told you.
Yeah.
And how are the black magicians looking? Do they realize what they're doing to themselves?
Well, personally, what I pick up with the black magicians is they're in a bit of a quandary, because they're looking to see what's gone haywire with their medicine.
That does kind of make me laugh and smile from the inside as an ancient medicine woman.
They don't know what hit them.
Basically. So funny. Known for it. It is. So, you know, I just want to show them, actually, because it is learning. We're all here to learn. It's like, look, love, loves. We cannot do this. We all need to be unified. It's not, as you said earlier, Derek, it's not self service to self in entirety. We do have a responsibility to ourselves, yes, and our own evolution, I agree, but also to the others in the world around us by how we feel, where our sense of humanity is within ourselves. That's also part of the evolution. How can we walk down the road and turn a blind eye to creation? How can we do that? You know? I'm just checking there on the 15's removal to the structures. And those who reside in evil and abuse on the continent itself of women and themselves. I just want to bring those energies forward into the court of equity. There's a bit of anger, but that usually drives the abuse as well. There's enslavement programs, there's trafficking, there's all sorts of things here. You know, there's actually been the forced feeding of humans to others, where they literally, you know, we're going back to some really early times here, where people have ate other people, you know, has happened across the world at various points. And it is this level of consumption of human DNA matter, which came from the lovely groups that sought to control the humans on the planet in the first place. What are your perceptions of that? It is a murky picture. It is, granted, but I'd be very interested in your perceptions, both.
Well, what I'm picking up, the woman in Africa and obviously around the world as well, while we're doing this work this evening, a lot of them don't realize that they've been compromised and that they've actually even had the energy sucked and drained out of them. It's like almost like being in a zombie state. And as we're doing this work, they're being released from this energy that's kept them under lock and key. So it's incredible, the work that we're doing. You know, it seems so simple, but at the same time, it's such deep work, and that's what I'm picking up, and the women are being released.
Brilliant.
Yeah, for me, what I'm seeing, it's like it's a bit a darker image where there's a little child and there's water, and he's just stepping on top of water and just mixing the water and the dirt, and it's it's just a kind of a childish kind of way of acting, but there's also a rain pouring down. So I don't know if it signifies there's a new dawn, or I don't know why the image is being shown to me.
You're playing, Harrison. You're being shown the play, because this playful creation, it, you know, from this, you know, where we're going in each given moment with this is our natural frequency of a source, our own personal source within us all. And it's really very beautiful. Now, this is going to be an interesting part. Let's just move a little bit northwest from Congo, northeast, sorry, I do apologize, to South Sudan and Egypt. We're going to start at the source of the Nile. And as we work up the Nile, we're just going to hoist in to the court of equity all occult groups and occultists who don't do work for the highest good and have sought to implement their systems all over the world. I would like to also bring into spiritual court of equity all those that ever were sourced as human slaves on any continent Africa, South America, North America, all over Europe. So we have Africans all over the world coming with that DNA coming in to the spiritual court of equity also. Because these communities set the cultural scene in other countries, and from that have experienced masses of suppression and death, actually. So we're going to bring in all those living and dead.
The moment you mentioned the source of River Nile, I saw a holy mountain. So it's like, show me, it's like the source. There's a huge underground water moving to Lake Victoria and then it goes all the way to Egypt. So, yeah.
Now, there is huge resistance in these lineages, the controlling lineages. You know, all the false stories from different incarnating dynasties, pharaohs, antiquities. I'm laughing because they're saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said to them, "Well, I told you I'd be back at some point."
Yeah, it's like I saw this pharaoh and a huge staff stamping down. I don't know if it was during the time of Moses when he was releasing those Israelites. It's like I'm getting that energy of those people being free.
Yeah.
And it's like that story is shrouded with a lot of misinformation and secrecy, because the path that people are being told is not even the real path that they followed. It's a totally different path.
Exactly. Yeah. Misled. Purposely misled. Right, there's a huge shifting now. I'm getting a sense of huge shifting under that pyramidal network as well. It's fascinating. And that will connect to all the technologies. Now, some may think, why are they saying all this, right? Why are they letting anyone else know about this? Why are we not hiding behind the scenes and doing this? And some might say, well, it's a bit stupid because you're revealing yourself, etc. I say, no, it's not that. It's because we are here demonstrating and doing something that's never been done before. That they are not powerful in their system. That those collectives that work with that system actively to suppress humanity are either they don't know what they're doing, they're misguided and misled by others who've given them a false picture and tried to disconnect them from who they truly are. And we're just showing that when that comes back online, in you, the individual, it demonstrates what you can achieve as an individual soul, but also collectively at a level with all souls. And that we are infinite beings, and that there really is no thing that they can do apart from try and stop your words, your vibration, your frequency from getting out there. So in whatever form, humanity will prevail. Just letting the system algorithms know that. And it's a great teaching for those algorithms.
Yeah.
And also one I want to say is, it's not just the three of us, there's the 15, as you say. We've got helpers all around from the different spiritual teams and worlds, and they're helping and assisting in doing this work. And I can't get it out of my mind, but while we talking here and we're busy with the spiritual court of equity, I keep on seeing a big golden book, and I keep on getting this message that this is all meant to happen right now. And we're doing what we said we'd do at the right time. And it's all being recorded. What we're doing here is absolutely perfect and divine. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear.
Exactly. And this is what happens when you literally can work as an individual, but also as a collective. Imagine when all beings on this, born on this planet, come together and work like this. You know, it's mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling and beautiful. Now, Harrison, can you check the waters of Africa for me? Just take the overview.
Yes, I can see the waters, and it's like something has already happened to them, to the water, because I'm seeing drop. It's like they're coming from a high position, then falling down, and it's pure water falling down on the ground. It's like it's been purified and then allowed to flow along the ground to replenish and create new plants and all that's supported by the water. It's like a new dome that's being formed.
Beautiful. At a cellular level.
Yeah.
Now, let's have a look at the ancestral lineages here of all core DNA groups from Africa. How are their impacts clearing? How are their negative emotions clearing?
Well, what I will say is, you asked Harrison about the water, and I got the impression and the feeling that the water can breathe again. And as the water starts to breathe again, and the coding of slavery and all the dark and negative attributes are dissolved out of it. It's also like you said, was speaking like you had psychic darts at you. And what I'm seeing is like the dart, like a huge big dart pointed and stabbed into the center of Africa as we're doing this work. It's been pulled out. And that's why the water can breathe freely again. And as the water starts to breathe freely again, us as human beings, we're basically water. The DNA is also being assisted through the water, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Harrison?
Yeah, that was nice. And I don't know, when you're talking about the elders, I can feel the energy of Credo coming, Credo Mutua. It's strong. I don't know if you, Derek, you are feeling his energy, but
Well, I was thinking about him on my walk today.
yeah, he is very, very strong, and I don't know, I'm not getting anything beyond that, but it looks like the elders are on our side and they're assisting us.
Exactly that, Harrison. Honestly, it's a beautiful thing. It brings tears to your eyes because this is the thing, is that we're told we are finite. That's it after death. But I'm pretty sure he ensured this to the level of support before he died and knew that, you know, that we are infinite and that you could still go on and achieve masses here. Because he really did love Africa. And I remember so many years ago, I saw his plea for help. Mother Africa is dying, he said. And I was like, wow, hold on, that really was quite a massive statement. And as I thought about it more, he was right. You know, that is what was happening. But now it's a whole different ballgame. So positive medicine peoples, let's have a look and connect with those in the spiritual court of equity, all those that do positive works on the land, because this is about healing Earth too. So we're just going to, Mother Earth is with us, her soul in the spiritual court of equity. What are the impacts that need to be released from the land that will assist her in her own journey of transformation and evolution?
Well, the greed needs to be released off the earth.
Yeah. Because it's like at the core, you know, the separation.
The moment you're talking, I can see the 12 elders in a holy mountain. And then I don't know if it's my house, but I'm seeing shiny things flying up. It's a bit strange.
Okay, let's just ensure that. Does it feel like they're leaving?
Hello, I have just noticed it twice, and I can see it like it has disappeared, but it was quite shiny. Yeah.
I think I get a sense that they were leaving. But
Who are leaving?
there were energies leaving as your connections with the elders were strengthening. Because remember, Credo Mutwa is working with you as a guide.
Yeah.
And also you're doing that as well.
Oh, that's true, but I can see the elders from a mountain. They are very strong, and the chief seer is seated, and he's just looking at what we are doing, and he's having every single aspect of it, and he is in really much appreciation of what we are doing.
That's beautiful. I've got knee goosebumps now. That's super powered goosebumps. That is beautiful. So how does the HIV and AIDS situation look?
It's going to be imploding and already is on itself. So it's on its way out.
So we're just going to bring in the self-love and nurture that all the people who experience this need. And it's a very beautiful feeling as that moves through. And we're just going to extend that to Mother Earth. How does she feel to you?
I feel that she's telling us that the dream spell is lifting.
It's a very physically strong feeling for me personally. Harrison, what's happening?
For me, it's I don't know, it's like this connection where I can see this beautiful woman, tall woman with a long dress, and she is having a conversation with a young one, and it's a kind of a very beautiful, fun conversation as she is holding this young one by the hand as they are walking along. So I think it's something positive they are talking about.
She's speaking to her children, and that they will be able to feel her and the appreciation of her and her appreciation of them. You know, it is, I just sort of felt there as well. It reminded me of when you are walking along with your child and you're telling them something and they're like, oh, you know, and it's a beautiful exchange.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful exchange. And the environment around them, it's quite beautiful. It's a lot of flowers. You can see streams flowing around. It's quite a beautiful environment that they are in.
And the Congo, how does it look? Oh, interweb.
Yeah, I'm saying the citizenry that around Congo area, it's like there's this much dealing with them. And it's something that's gonna be gradual. It's not an instant kind of thing. But it's happening for each and every individual person at their own pace.
And how do those layers of veil or cloak or layers that were suppressing the gold, how do they look? Are they gone?
They've risen considerably. They're almost evaporated, if you will.
Brilliant.
The Congo River starting to flow more freely, full of a more vibrant life force. The message to the people that drink it and the work that we've done here this evening, and it's a massive clearing on every single level. And I'm seeing the golden book, and it's all about the river, and it's all about the water.
I'm just so pleased. Honestly, it's a great feeling. Now, let's just check on the perpetuators of this. Have all those ritual affirmation programs been removed out of the lineages?
To me, it looks like people had this kind of metal stuff underneath their skin, and with every single thing that you are doing, those metal stuffs are just dropping on the ground. It's like they're becoming freer and more freer as we are continuing with this process.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, how are those indigos looking?
The indigos are doing really well, and I feel they're rejoicing within inside of
For
themselves
having
now.
someone picking up a guitar, others have this.
Wow.
Kind of cloth types, and they are singing.
Could you say that again, please?
It's also what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing right now is angels returning to the Congo in the center of Africa. Streams of angels coming through now. They weren't able to before, which
Oh,
the work that we've already started this evening with the work amongst themselves.
okay, so I'm just checking that they're going to stream through. I just love seeing the forest light up. All the animals will benefit. Oh, so how are the original races of Africa? How do they look? Because their land rights have been stripped away from them. Their natural environment supports them. They communicate with nature to find food. And there's very few tribes like that left in its original form. How are they doing?
I've seen horse with golden wings soaring up. I don't know if it's changing into an angel, but it's just of Africa. Yeah.
And those that enslaved the slaves, are they sorry for what they've done?
It's the cutting of the cords to the people that actually were responsible for rounding up people and enslaving them through thousands of generations, going all the way back, even hundreds of thousands of years in Africa, and people actually even being removed off planet. So it's a very deep, vast subject we're talking about here, but the cords are starting to be cut as we are doing this court here today.
Yeah. And as you're saying that, Derek, I can see Vatican, the front part.
Wow.
I think it has a really huge connection with the slavery that was happening.
And still is happening.
yeah, and still it's happening. Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite places on earth. Now, in the last few, say last 20 minutes or so, I've been getting a strong sense of Equatorial Guinea and its energetic function on the continent. Could you observe it, please?
As you're saying that, I'm picking up immediately that the gorillas left in Africa are aware of the work that we're doing here, and they are also assisting us.
That's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's really good. And the moment you have mentioned Equatorial Guinea, I can see the huge oil deposits that's within their country. And it has brought so much turmoil for that country. And I think we need to look at that.
Exactly. It's just such a key location into the Atlantic.
Yeah, and that oil is mother Earth's fluid. It's like her blood we are using to burn, and it's
Yeah.
like they want that energy that has distress to be distributed all over the world. That's why they are doing the negativity on that country, so that that oil can have that imprint as they are selling it out to other people. So, and it's like Mother Earth is refreshing and renewing that energy that's around that part.
So what does the soul of Mother Earth want us to do?
I feel the soul of Mother Earth working on the earth. It starts with the water, clearing the water, and the water brings life, and plants grow from the water. So doing the work that we've started to do this evening, it's allowing the water to breathe again, new life in it. So it's a very good thing. So it's not what Mother Earth wants us to do. We've already been directed to do it, and we're doing it right now.
You see, I'm thinking, right, okay, because there are, what I'm getting, I know it's taken me a while to see this, because as the clearings move forward, more is revealed to go deeper. So it is the coastline of Equatorial Guinea. What else is there? What other countries are around that area? You've got, can't remember, it's terrible.
You got Cameroon.
Cameroon.
Yeah, you got Cameroon on the downward side. I don't know if
Sierra
on
Leone.
tops. Yeah, they also border DRC Congo. And yeah, there are quite a number of countries around that region.
Mm.
There's been a lot of bloodshed shed in that region, and that's where they also part of it is where, you know, what we call black diamonds, where people have literally spewed blood to get the diamonds out and sell them on the market with absolute disregard to human life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Those mines are very dangerous as well. Right. Now I'm just going to do something unusual, and I've never done this before because my father used to work in Cameroon, and I'm just going to bring him into the spiritual court of equity. Can you read what he says? It's about the weave. He's speaking of an alchemical weave with the diamond matrix that keeps the siphons in there. Now, I didn't realize that was going to come up because he worked for an oil company. Now, phew, how many soul shards are in those diamonds that are being alchemically held to hold a certain position of entry and exit into the continent from Atlantis?
Thousands. Literally thousands.
And soul shards that have been transported all over the world physically. So let's just get them released, shall we?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
This is going to cause a bit of mayhem releasing these soul shards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I'm
is.
seeing like literal missiles shooting up from all over, and they're coming into one place. So it's quite a lovely scene.
And it's coming from a long time ago. Long time ago. I'm just requesting they go deep to the core of Earth through all densities as well. Whoa, masses of interplay through time here. Masses. All programmed as well for the contraction expansion of the individual. So they would harvest the energy from the individual, the main body, as it were, and transfer it to the soul shard in the diamond.
Yeah, I'm seeing someone's diamond market crumbling.
Grumbling. Wasn't me. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Because there are some very young souls in there. And all those souls, I'm asking for extra nurture for them to grow. Packed into tubes in the timelines as well.
Well, that means they've been stored.
That's right. So my next question, this will be interesting. Who did that? Just bringing them into the spiritual court of equity. Let me know your perceptions both.
I can see giants
Also,
walking.
go for it, Harrison.
I was saying I can see giants walking around. I think they're also involved in trapping of those souls.
That came to light to me last night, actually, because in the oral tradition of the Hasda, they believed that the sky was inside the earth and the earth was on top, and that the giants reigned supreme before the next wave of incarnated human types came in. Fascinating. Just letting them know that we don't do that now, if we can help it, because it's just not nice.
Yeah, go for it, Derek.
Yeah.
No, you're saying who's responsible for it, but it's also the scientists of old.
Oh, I knew it was going to go there. Go on, Derek, elaborate.
Well, we're back to working with genetics, actually. And it's not just soul shards from back then. It's currently being replayed right now. So, yeah, it goes very deep as well. So we've called in the Court of Equity to work with this, and they're working with it and releasing the soul shards, and also cords to those ancient old scientists that were responsible. So that's also, they're working to sever those cords and release them.
Now, I love helping ancient scientists realize the error of their ways. I do, I can't deny it. And some of those scientists, basically, those souls were being stored for transhumanist use now. So in effect, they were reprogramming those soul shards to be utilized in a future timeline that does not have the, let's just say, benefit of humanity. So they were going to actually use those soul shards for negative transhumanist use. And again, I've come back to, oh, what's his name? I keep forgetting it. There's a certain advisor. I didn't know how this was going to come in, but it's been on my mind. Advisor to the World Economic Forum, who basically would love to see children disconnect from the true history that is in their DNA with a superimposed digital one that is in favor of their system moving forward, of control moving forward. So I wish, what's his name? I'm just going to look it up very quickly. If you could tell me your observations, that's great.
Well, whoever's in control of the World Economic Forum, that person is being controlled himself by other beings and masters of planet. So those cords need to be dissolved and detached. So I think, Angela, you should call in the Court of Equity to start doing that work right now.
Yeah, well, we've brought them in there because it's a mass resolution that's going to go on. Now, what is the name of that individual?
I'm getting this flasher like he is an Israeli.
That's right. I can't remember the name though. Like, come on.
Yeah, I saw he was talking about how we are not gonna have free will because they are gonna put stuff under our skin.
That's right.
Yeah, it was very terrible talk.
It
and
was.
Everybody is cheering up of what he is talking of, and yeah.
Got him. I've got his video right in front of me that I was looking at. I couldn't remember his name. What's his name? Yeah. Him. Oh, I've got his face right in front of me. Dr. Yuval Noah Harari.
Yes, Dr. Harari. Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't take. I was thinking I need to do a show on that, but now it's just opened up the doorway. Right, I'm bringing him directly because, it reminds me of the times of old, the fool who had the ear of the king. So he would be on the ground, and I recognize the look in his eye on his video presentation. In you go, Dr. Harari. He's not actually a medical doctor. Just scope his energy in the Court of Equity. Why so much hatred? What does he hate about humanity per se?
I don't think it's really got to do with hate. It's got to do with power.
Mm. I'm just going to bring his ancestry in at the same time. Oh, they feel themselves to be a superior race of beings. Oh, it's horrible. It makes me want to be sick. So unnatural, you know. So I'm just getting that energy defragged. And also, he is, there's an element of Luciferic satanic in there. There's also about 60% transhumanist takeover. He's literally like a bot. It feels very like grating, which is quite common in transhumanism because it goes against the natural organic form that we have. It feels like
Well, it's almost insectoid then.
Three aspects of that, three streams. But what fascinates me, here we go. There is a hybrid Pleiadian element there. It comes, the mother's line, forget it. The mother's line is black, basically, black in energy. So that's probably where he was born, of a satanic, Luciferic kind of race. You have the other element there of the father's line, which has one thin hybrid light stream coming through it, which is probably what I thought would be the future Pleiadian, but is quite an amalgamation of many different types of negative groups here. So I'm going to bring all his lineage into, it's going to get a step bigger. I just won't stop. Right, so we're going to bring in to that spiritual court of equity any lineage being that is associated or has even whispered about controlling other humans on this earth in their direction and their ideology of what human is and should be. And here we're going to find a cooking pot.
I just want to ask you, Angela, sorry to butt in. I'm picking up, he also has an ancestral lineage going back to Tiamat. Would like you to check on that, please.
Agreed. Home. Which explains a lot. They have no virtue, or if they have, it's false. Right, so I'm just going to defrag through the lineages of the dark. I'd say there's very little humaneness within him, maybe as even little as 4%, but that can't get through.
I also feel that he's got ancestral lineage through the giants of old.
There you go, Harrison. Spot on.
Yeah.
Right, I want to get all his programs, sub-programs, add-ons, transfer programs. but also, oh, now there is something called a bodysuit, which is a hail back from the experimentation that took place with the skin suit technologies. And he was a proponent of the misuse of that. So this basically, the WEF plans is to do the same, using the same principles. Right, that energy is going to start shifting. It's very dense. We have a specific set of teams that are working on this. Very interesting. What are your perceptions in the spiritual court of equity?
The image that's being flashed to me, it's this image of Sauron from the Lord of Rings, when he was creating all this weird stuff underneath, and then these trees were coming. They had decided to revolt against the White Master. So they are going on and releasing this dam that he had created, and it's like that water is coming in and washing all that dirt that was being created underneath and clearing all that dense stuff, destroying what Sauron had done. It's the same scene that I'm being shown.
Brilliant. Right, so we're just back from that minor little internet glitch. So we're just observing the removals and the resolution that's taking place. On the people that were affected and beings, past, present, and future, what are your perceptions?
Well, you've got to remember past, present, and future in the quantum world all exist in the now moment. So in the now moment, the Court of Equity's been working at releasing all the negative people that have been responsible for the enslavement of the African people, particularly in Africa, that spread to slavery around the world, and also releasing shards that have been trapped in diamonds for experimentation, past, present, and future in the quantum world in the now moment.
Brilliant.
That's excellent. For me, it's like another angle is coming for me. It's like the Mafok people want to also be part of this. It's reminding me of the video, the clip that I sent you. It's like they want to join this because they're also on the eastern part of Africa, from Kenya to Madagascar. That's their living quarters.
Yes, further to that, I asked a marine biologist about that. Yeah. And she feels that it's real, that there were similar cases in Argentina.
Wow. Yeah, and the government here, the police, they have tremendously denied, saying it's fake, all sorts of things. But for me, I felt that's a real thing that I'm seeing.
I mean, you could tell by the bone structure, the hand structures. There were certain things, you know, and I looked at this with a media researcher friend who's very, very astute. And we analysed it, you know, because I just wish when they were filming, the men moved out of the way a bit more, you know, there was too many legs in the picture. You know, send that message. Oh,
but I didn't send that one to you.
fascinating. Everybody wants resolution and to be part of it, which is tremendous. So
Yeah.
we've hit a glitch in the internet connection because we must be really doing very well. So I don't know if you can hear me, but what percentage are we complete? How much have we accomplished?
80%. 80%. 80%.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Harrison?
Yeah, it's around that 80%. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. So other things, I'm just checking there for the energy behind the Nephilim. Who caused destruction, like you wouldn't believe. Their elders are coming in. Oh my goodness. And I'm just asking them to remove anything else that they have put on this earth or just left behind as a memory, as an imprint or program or any type of any other interference to the generations of now. Now, there is a procedure that they would do, and this is actually quite interesting because it affected the indigos quite substantially, and it was by a group that worked with them. It was an offshoot group called the Nepharim, and what their capability, what they did was basically split the soul. That's right. So it was this, they were involved in the experimentation procedures where this split of masculine and feminine came to pass in individuals and caused fighting amongst men and women. But it also caused gender dysphoria, which is fascinating, actually. So there was this, you know, if you were incarnated sometimes, you did not know if you were male or female or both. It caused confusion into knowing who you were as a full embodied soul.
I'll tell you why. Can I just add to, can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
That's due to the insertion of the soul shards that are either male or female.
Thank you. That's amazing. So that is beginning to move now. So I'm going to request that they remove this from all beings, because there are a lot of people out there that are really damaging their natural biological forms that are going to cause them health problems and mental disorders later on in life. And it damages lineages and causes so much inner confusion for those individuals. Because we fixate on the external without looking within. And it affects the heart of the point of view of the individual experience. Wow. I am chilling all over. Wow. How does that look to you guys in the spiritual court of equity?
Well, what I'm seeing is they're having to go back through ancestral lineage as well.
Yeah. Tremendous trauma here from the original experimentation. Tremendous impacts. You don't feel good in yourself. You have low self-esteem. You need to be recognized. You feel ignored, worthless, all of those qualities. And these beings are amazing. High frequency beings. Some of them actually now, ironically, are affecting crystal children. Only that subset of incarnated beings. So I'm just bringing in all their elders to support this process as well. Such deep compassion. How does that feel to you, Harrison?
No, it's like I'm getting like the others moved like a notch up in frequency. And I know you have already translated into the 4D ranks, but what we are doing, it's like it has moved like an octave above. I don't know if you're getting that or.
I mean, I don't think it's any mistake. It's day 11 of the 4th month.
Yeah.
Eric?
What I'm seeing is people actually being released. See, but that's a type of slavery as well, because that's what we've been working with this evening as well. So we've been working with letting go and dissolving the slavery in Africa. We were talking about earlier on and spreading to the rest of the world. And then also now it's genetic slavery that we're dealing with on a, if you want to call it that, if you will, that we're dealing with. So we're dissolving that as well, which is, I never thought about it like that, but it's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this moment, just let go, both of you, of any impact that you have in your genetic memory of that. Be very good for both of you to do that. So as we do the clearing, we clear ourselves as well. So I will assist you with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love that.
And describe to me your physical sensations.
It's being able to breathe much easier again as there's all these things are being lifted. And as we being able, Harrison and myself, say, for example, are being able to breathe a little bit more freer when you're being freed within inside of yourself. And simultaneously, we're working on Africa. And I feel the trees in Central Africa, in the Congo, they're feeling freer. They can move, they can breathe more easily. And that energy is spreading throughout Africa.
It's like the souls can grow.
Yes.
Of the plant, animal, minerals, but also the human.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. For me, the thoughts that were coming to me was that the community that I come from, they did not agree with slavery and they detested it. So they would fight any community that they would find doing that action to another, because they never believed in having a slave or owning a slave, and they would not allow that. And it's being connected with these ancient guardians of Africa arising, and they are acting as a guard to every single person who is already in Africa, to make sure that this doesn't happen in any way, shape, or form, whatever dimension it's coming from.
That
It's
is
like they are rising. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
What I'd just like to add to what Harrison said is that, you know, mankind came and divided up Africa, for example, into different countries. But slavery, say, for example, in any country, even though it's been divided up and called a country, it's the land that it's on, is that that piece of land or that country's had to pay back karma for having slavery. So it's the land that's needing to be released and freed from that energy of slavery as well, and the people living in that particular place. So it's historic as well. Clearing of karma needs to take place.
Okay. So at what percentage are we complete with the spiritual court of equity? And then the karmic shifts will happen as a result of the removals.
I pick up 95, 96%.
Lovely. Great. So if you could consult the golden book and ask what needs to be done to clear that karma for Earth.
We need to sync our energies in with Mother Earth, speak to her in another clearing session, and it's like she's going to ring the bells. And when she rings the bells and talks to the minerals, it will all be cleared for the earth. It's through the mineral kingdom that you will work to do it.
Okay. Okay. Before, as I think, Phil, we're on 97, 98%. I just want to check on Harari, how that lineage looks. Have they resolved?
I'm picking up, it's been quite difficult because Tiamat blew up. So they're having to look at all the fragments that were involved in that explosion. Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit while longer, and it will be completed within this day. South Africa, it's not, but by the time of midnight, it would have all be completed for him.
Brilliant, brilliant. And we'll, you know, with this, as we go through, the resolution takes place very often, but the actual mechanical removals go on for a little time after, and we just monitor it.
Exactly.
Okay, so getting 98. So I just want to bring in all the energy that was taken from the people and from Earth.
Also, what I'd like to add, I'm picking up, the dark black magicians in Africa actually use, for example, maybe a giraffe tail or a lion bone or whatever they deem can help them to maintain the magic that they are doing. So by doing this work with the court this evening, those animals whose pieces from them have been stolen, have been misused, it's another type of slavery, if you will, are actually being retracted and redrawn to those animals. So that power is being dissolved right now as we are doing this work.
Brilliant. Do you know what? I'm gonna say a story what happened to me while that completion takes place. Once upon a time, a lion urinated on me. It said, "You're mine." And I had the most beautiful experience with a whole pride of lions that is quite remarkable, that I will always remember in my infinite journey, and that I had the privilege to hold a 2-week-old white lion cub as a baby. It's just the most beautiful thing.
Well, that's a very precious experience.
Yeah, it really was, because I'm quite leonine in my ways. So, when you hear of animals that you share some sort of memory experience with, and that's being rectified as well, that's a really beautiful thing. Couldn't wait to get down like a toddler. I remember that. It's like doing all that. Reminded me of my son, actually. Oh. So how does everything feel in the Court of Equity?
We've done a lot of work this evening, some very powerful work. They're very happy. And this golden book, they're signing off, and we're ready for the next chapter in the next time the court sits down.
That's brilliant. Harrison?
Yeah, it looks lovely. Though the image I'm seeing, it's a bit strange because it's like a meteorite I'm seeing shooting across the sky, and it's burning up and it's fierce. I don't know what it's representing, but I'm not afraid by looking at it like the way people would be, because it would look like it's a meteorite trying to crash on Earth. So I don't know from your perspective what you see.
I see all that negative energy that we've released this evening being burnt up.
Same. That is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That was a voyage and a half, hey?
Wow. That was really, really amazing.
So I'm going to ask you both, right? I'm just going to check behind the scenes at those that shadow ban me again. And just observe if there's anyone preventing, anything, any being, any group, faction that is preventing this information getting out to all. It's just a couple of bits, little hiding ones I'm getting. a bit shadowy. So I'm just going to send that message out into all digital ethers, seen and unseen, spiritual ethers. Either way, resolution will be, because we can reach masses of people without reaching visually masses of people, like what we just did with Africa there. So it really, silly little games are irrelevant, because either way it will be. So that's my message to those that will try. Also, I'm just ensuring that there is no kickback or pushback at either any one of us in this moment or our families. How does that feel?
It feels very good with me. We've done the work. We guarded, guarded, and protected. Nothing to fear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's exactly, couldn't have said it better myself. Harrison?
Yeah, I'm feeling this peace coming back again within myself and settling down, knowing that it's gonna be okay. It's quite peaceful. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. And how does the land underneath your feet feel?
It's just saying hello and it's cheering up, saying thumbs up. That was nice. That was awesome.
Agreed.
Excellent. That's just amazing. So thank you to everybody that's listened to this broadcast and clearing and activation. If you would like a private session, you can contact me at Harmony in Perfect Counsel on Facebook. Leave a message. I'll leave all the details below. Also repeating the soul wounding clearing event on the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, and it will be absolutely beautiful, sacred and amazing. And I'll also leave those links below. So we're going to do another innings of these clearings for Africa in a bit of a series. Do stay tuned. Lovely people, do subscribe. It really helps. And I will be putting out more stuff of various different themes and subjects. And with Africa, I'm going to have the fabulous help of Derek and Harrison, who are absolute powerhouses right there on the next continent over to where I'm at. It's great. I shall, it just is so happy. I'm on the coast looking out at Africa over the seas. So it's all fabulous. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Yay.